What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below. As usual, go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks, everybody, for supporting. But this video, though, this video is entitled, So It's All Their Fault. Now what? Here's the thing. There are plenty of situations where other people are to blame and you might have to clean up the mess. Now, you could say it's all their fault, and it's true, but then what? See, it's all your parents' fault that you didn't have the best start in life. Now what? Are you going to not try? Are you going to slack off? Are you going to get entitled and be lazy? You know, are you going to say when you failed at things, it was because of your parents? Or are you going to learn the lesson and get better the next time? Because, yeah, you wasn't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Now what? Seriously, now what? You know, do you want your kids to be born in the same circumstance you was in? Because if you do, you're going to be the victim your whole life, and you're not going to move forward in life, and you're going to wind up in the very spot that you don't want to be in. Your child is going to wind up in the very spot that you're complaining about, that you're upset about. So I got to ask, now what? You know, you wanted to fall in love with somebody, build a family with somebody, and they chose somebody over you. Now what? You feel like you was the better choice. You might have been, but they didn't choose you. Now what? Are you not going to find somebody else? If marriage and family is what you wanted, or if companionship is what you wanted, you're not going to talk to nobody else ever again? That's what we doing? Now what? You gonna watch them? You gonna stalk them on social media on a low key? You gonna be ghost stalking? You happy? I hate you. Now what? Where do you go from there? You know, ask yourself that question. Is it you hate the whole group? You know, can nobody ever be better than the person that told you no? Do you want to get with them out of revenge to let them know that you chose the wrong one? But now what? Even if you get that, now what? You gonna settle down and marry them and build a family with them now that you got some revenge choice in, some revenge companionship, a revenge relationship? I told you so love, you know. Now what? What we doing? Not gonna say we, but what are we doing in a sense? Now what? I just want to know. You know, now the white man has got his foot on your neck. All the way to your trapezius. Racism, classism, caste system. You was born into it. It's not fair. Now what? What you gonna do? You just gonna pack it in? I mean, YouTube is a microcosm of racism. I know that they mess with black channels, you know, and I know that some of us just aren't as talented as other people. You know, I know it's easier for white content creators to get a large following than it is for black ones. I understand that. But is that going to stop me from creating content? No. Told y'all this is a hobby. I like doing it. I like giving you brothers information. Period. Nothing wrong with it. I got, you know, free time. I don't watch TV. Went to see Hellboy today, by the way. I liked it. But now what? You know, you don't have if you got a plan in life, you're going to let the racist white man stop you? Or you gonna cover your, cross your T's and dot your I's to make sure that you don't get completely screwed out of all of your ingenuity? Now what? That's what I gotta ask. I gotta ask this serious question. Because, you can blame them. It's their fault. But now what? Yeah, it's their fault. How about this? You feel like you were blessed or weren't blessed with your life. Everything about it. Looks, size, intellect. Now what? What you gonna do? You feel like you wasn't blessed? What are you gonna do about it? You don't like your looks. You gonna try working out? You gonna try different clothes? Because you might not like how you look, how you were born, but you can advertise yourself better than you have been. So you gonna do that? Or you just gonna say, I don't like how I look? I'm to this or to that. I wish I was more like this or that. So you gonna put some work in to be closer to what you think you can be? Or are you just gonna sulk? Yeah. It's God's fault that you aren't the most God-gifted person on the planet. Fine. Now what? I mean, even Bo Jackson ain't got a six-pack no more, but that you forget about that part. Just saying. So now what? What you gonna do? How about this? You don't like your financial situation. And unlike the parents sabotaging you just by birth, your parents mismanaged actual money that was actually put aside for you. Now what? Because they ain't gonna get it back. Now you gotta go make the money that was stolen from you. Now what? I'm not saying you don't have the right to be upset. I'm not saying you're not going to have the right to be bitter. I'm not saying you don't have the right to go off and be angry. But after that, then what? What are you going to do about it? Besides, because when you start making money, I'm sure you're not going to put that same money in the same hands of the people that blew all of your money, right? The train got to go. Gotta leave the station with or without that inheritance. Now what? I gotta ask serious questions, right? Let's try something else. It's their fault that, how can I say this? Something happened to you and you were traumatized or scarred or disfigured. No fault of your own. And now you're insecure about that. Now what? You gonna either use that trauma or scar or disfigurement, whatever it is, as a way to gain some confidence no matter what. Or you're going to let it harm you. And I know people might look at me like, what are you talking about? All I have is what? This little scar on my eyebrow, right? Well, you see this little scar on my eyebrow right here? This side of my face was completely skinned off when that happened. I have a little star on my throat. My throat got cut before. So when I talk about being disfigured, I'm not disfigured now, but I know what it's like. Didn't bother me. I was a teenager when this part happened. But, that was my fault actually. But, yeah, it was my fault. Now what? So I was like, hey, whatever. I look like Two-Face, whatever. So I'm just saying this to say things happen in life that are out of your control, that are sometimes not your fault. And you're going to have to deal with it. So now what? Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.